Hello YouTube, and welcome back to a brand new video, a brand new night, and a semi-brand new topic. It was suggested to me that I try an expansion on the topic I discussed last night, and I decided to kind of pull something out from my past and maybe shed a little bit more insight on what I was talking about last night in regards to your gear not mattering so much. Now, I have here my old saxophone from seventh grade. Seventh grade. This was the saxophone that I got in seventh grade. It's a Cannonball saxophone. I remember loving how pretty this instrument was. It still is. I think I just have an affinity for the Selmer look now. But here I have the original Cannonball mouthpiece, a ligature that I pulled out, and I have the neck that came with my horn, and the horn itself. I have not played this horn in probably a few years, and the last time I played it was to make sure that it actually worked. So, in reference to me telling you that gear really doesn't matter, I thought it would be really cool to have me pull out an instrument that I haven't played for quite a long time and see if I can get a half decent sound out of it to prove that gear doesn't necessarily matter so much. Oh, look at that. There's a sluggish, my G sharp is pretty sluggish on coming up. Okay. Just fun to work with, I guess. Okay, so I have an old reed that's just been sitting on my desk here, and tastes like it's been sitting on my desk. Okay, mouthpiece on, doesn't really matter where. Let's see how this bad boy performs. Okay, a little bit of warped reed action here. That looks straight enough. Okay, so here we go, here we go, here we go. I'm actually kind of looking forward to this. It's been so many years since I played this horn. And I remember when I first got it, it was just such a beautiful sound. I started on alto, and this was my very first tenor. I got it about a year or so later. So let's see how this guy sounds. This is completely legit. This is unplanned, and I did not practice this setup earlier, so this is just how it sounds. Now, I'm going to turn off my speaking mic here and just go for it. We'll see if I can get a good sound. Hopefully my sound concept will carry through and I can sound like myself, and then I'll do an A/B with my regular setup. You know, when all is said and done, that doesn't sound half bad. So, I could probably make a few minor adjustments on my reed here, but I think it sounds pretty good. Let me know in the comments what you think. It'll be extra revealing when I play my normal setup. But you know, with long tones and a little bit of work, I'm sure that this can be brought up into shape in no problem. In no time. Let me play a little bit more. And please let me know what you think. Please. Quick shout out to Morgan Faw, who's watching from Kansas City, Kansas. Hi, Morgan. I'm glad you think it sounds nice. Now, I'm going to try my Selmer horn with my Auto-Link mouthpiece. Now, this is the opposite extreme as far as gear goes. And I suspect that it's going to sound better, not only because it's more expensive, better made gear, but it's the gear that I play all the time. So that will play a huge, I just lost my train of thought. It'll probably be a huge difference, but let's go ahead and see. You know, we're talking about those details. We're talking about just that little tiny bit at the end. You know, I think my sound is mostly there. It might sound a little thinner it might be a little thinner as Morgan pointed out, but the cannonball is fatter in sound. Oh my goodness. Now give me a second. I'm gonna grab my Boxo mouthpieces, the ones that I have used throughout the years. Now these are not all tenor mouthpieces, just so you know. There are alto mouthpieces and clarinet mouthpieces in here, but I just wanted to try them and maybe see, let me know what you think. Okay, so trying to find something a little different than what I've been playing on already. Okay, here's an interesting one. This is an Auto-Link slant copy that was made on wood, or it was cut with a lathe machine with this wood here. So let's see how that sounds. I'll use the same reed and ligature from the cannonball, and I'll play it on my cannonball, and I'll try putting it on my Selmer and see how that sounds. Now the thing you got to be concerned about with with wood is sometimes with the weather change, the wood can warp and you don't get quite as good a seal on your from the reed onto the mouthpiece. But this seems okay for now. Okay, let's try this. I gotta say, that sounds pretty darn good. Let me try this on my Selmer. This is kind of fun. You know, this video is supposed to be about why gear doesn't matter, but you know, it's kind of proving that the mouthpiece plays a really, really important role in your overall overall playing, because while you might be able to get the sound you're looking for out of a really cheap student mouthpiece, you'll probably get a lot more control with a good mouthpiece. And it doesn't have to be super expensive, but just better than a beginner. Sorry, mic was on. Here we go. Okay. Enough of that. So, what is my point here? I'm not really sure, but it's kind of fun going down memory lane. I love how good that cannonball sounds, and if anything, that should prove that gear really doesn't matter that much. Your concept of sound, the way that you play your instrument is going to have much more weight than the actual instrument itself. And when you play well enough that you can start worrying about gear, that's when you should worry about gear. Well, you should never worry about gear, but you'll know when you're ready to move on to the next step. I know it's so easy to feel that itch, like this mouthpiece or this saxophone is going to make me play better. But you heard me on my cannonball, and there's some qualities of my cannonball that I don't really get on my Selmer. And I've chosen to get a particular sound on my Selmer, and I really love that sound, but it's something that I have to work on every single day. And I feel like playing a Selmer for some people is a breeze, but for me, I almost feel like playing a Selmer is like going into edit mode. There's so much of a color palette available. I have to choose what it is that I want to do and the way that I want to sound. The Selmers have a sound, but there's plenty of room for me to express freely, and and sound the way that I want to. Now, with a beginner horn, you might find that the horn just takes over and it kind of has its own color. As you kind of heard with the cannonball, it has a direction. And that might not be the way that I want to sound, but it's still valid. And I feel like the concepts in tone, the sweetness, the warmth in a tone is universal, thing that everybody wants. So thank you so much for tuning in. Again, please leave a comment if you have any thoughts on this, or if you have any ideas about upcoming topics for new videos. Tomorrow I should have my new video out on pros versus amateurs and what you can do to get better. Stop sounding like an amateur. It's a new series I've started thanks to a great suggestion by a friend, where I break down different topics within your playing, and I show you some exercises and things that you can do to improve. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Good night.